I absolutely love stealth games, and I might have just found my new favorite one. And what's even better is it plays amazing on the Steam Deck. Hitman is a long-running game series that I first encountered around about 20 years ago. And in those early days when I first encountered it, it was a bit clunky and really unforgiving. One of my favorite things about stealth games is being able to sneak around, creep up on people, and the sense of power that it gives you. But inevitably, sometimes you're going to get spotted, and when that happens, you don't want the game to just completely end. Previous Hitman games and a lot of stealth games I've struggled to get to grips with always had this issue, and they made them feel overly difficult and completely unforgiving. But 20 years on, I've decided to return to Hitman and give it another go, and Hitman 3 is absolutely stunning. It's a fantastic game that transcends the stealth genre, and it looks absolutely glorious. But what's more important is it's absolutely nailed the stealth mechanics, giving you a true sense of power as you navigate your environments and try to blend in with the crowd to take out your missions. But what's more importantly is that if things change or if you get spotted, it lets you react and think on the fly and try to solve the issue instead of just ending the game there and then. But whereas Hitman 3 was already a fantastic game, the latest edition, Hitman Freelancer mode, elevates it to one of my favorite video games of all time. Whereas the campaign mode in Hitman 3 is more of your standard video game affair, the type of thing we'd come to expect from a stealth game, a story that you follow on and you execute your missions. Freelancer mode adds in a completely new dynamic, giving you complete power and control over your entire stealth and espionage experience. Because what Freelancer mode does is it adds in roguelike elements into the stealth gameplay, something that I've never seen done before, but now that I've seen it done, it is an absolute match made in heaven. And I never realized how well stealth gameplay could match up with roguelike elements. Now, for anybody unfamiliar, to boil it down, roguelike gameplay basically makes all your decisions in the game world persistent. If you fail a mission or you fail a level, that level is done. You can't do it again. Any money, items, or progress that you've lost is gone forever. But you can carry on and keep on trying building up from that. Roguelike elements emanate all the way back from the original iteration in the game Rogue, and so many games have tried to employ those gameplay mechanics. But Hitman Freelancer mode is one of the best examples I've ever seen, and it's changed Hitman 3 into a game that I am completely addicted to, and a game that really feels like I'm creating my own world and my own experience. With Hitman Freelancer mode, you are Agent 47, and you are given your own base of operations, a base that starts off completely bare bones, but everything you do in your missions from then on out help you build as a special agent and help you build your base of operations as well. Any weapons you find in the field you can bring back to your base and have them as part of your inventory. But any weapons you take out and lose, you've lost them forever. And the same can be said for so many things, including disguises and money earned through missions. And the money you've earned through missions can be built up to turn your base of operations into an absolutely glorious spy pad. But this is just the beginning. This is where you pick your missions, decide how you want to execute them, decide what disguises, what weapons you might use, and make your entire plan. Because Hitman Freelancer mode tasks you with taking out syndicates across the entire globe. From your base of operations, you can select a syndicate that you want to take out, and you can start progressing, taking out lower level individual members to try and unveil the head of the whole syndicate. And the way that this works gameplay wise is that you were given 4 different locations to work from, including places from all across the globe, ranging from Argentina, Miami, New York, Dubai, Japan, and that's just to name a few. Depending on which syndicate you've decided to focus on, you'll have a number of locations to go to, and these locations are so detailed, so beautiful, and full of life. And within each of those locations, you'll have a number of low-level individual members of the syndicate that you'll need to take out. And the beauty is, how you do this is entirely up to you. There is literally a whole living, breathing world for you to navigate, people for you to interact with, scenarios for you to play through. In the first mission I ever found myself in Miami, an absolutely beautiful rendition of it. And throughout this mission, so many different realistic events were happening in the background. There was an electric car street race going on. There was even an expo dedicated to that, with everything you would expect to see in the real world around these kinds of events. Security, tourists, even people just living their life and going for a jog through the streets of Miami. And within this environment, there were so many different options and ways that I could attempt to try and take out these members. It was honestly like a playground for a spy. It absolutely blew my mind. And this was just Miami. The next mission, I found myself in the skyscraper in Dubai. And once again, such a real real world living environment. It's difficult to describe just how alive the environment feels and how individual every person you interact with is. And the most beautiful thing about this is that every single playthrough is a completely unique story, a completely unique tale. I found myself going down after missions and telling my wife everything that happened, even when I failed. Sometimes the failed missions were the most exciting and the most fun. With one scenario in particular, I was in the skyscraper in Dubai and I thought it'd be a great idea to block one of the sinks so then some of the staff could come in and I could try to steal the disguise. But like an idiot, I didn't hide. I set the actual tap running and walked straight out, only for someone to see me straight away. I tried to sort that out quickly, but whilst I was trying to steal the disguise from one of the guys I'd knocked out, another member of staff came in and everything just went crazy from that point on. I tried my best to recover, but I just caused too much of a scene and that was it for me. But I learned from this, and I learned from how realistic the scenarios are and how you have to think what you would do in the real world if you want to try and get through these missions. What's even more brilliant as well is that it's not just a simple case of going after targets which are highlighted in your mission. When you've completed taking out the lower level members, this causes enough of a ruckus for the highest level member to be spooked and start to give away some details about themselves, which culminates in you going to your final location where you'll have a list of information about the head target that you're after, but you won't know who that specifically is. There'll be details like maybe they've got allergies, or maybe they're a smoker, or they wear a hat, or they've got dark hair. And using that information, you have to figure out who this person is in a crowd of literally hundreds, if nearly thousands of people. And it really puts your stealth and spy skills to the test. Every single scenario, every single mission genuinely makes you feel like James Bond, makes you feel like Jason Bourne, makes you feel like a spy who's trying to figure out the situation, figure out their environment, and try and blend in and find the best way, thinking on their feet, how to achieve each mission. Nothing about Hitman Freelancer mode feels linear or forced or anything other than you in a world where you get to make the decisions and how your spy legacy is going to grow from that point on. With so much at stake with every mission, knowing that any items that you lose in the mission are gone from your inventory, knowing any disguises you lose, or knowing that if you spook one of the lower level members, you alert the entire syndicate, which then makes follow-on missions that much more difficult because they're looking out for you, means that every single mission has you fully invested and has you on edge and really makes you want to succeed. But even when you fail, which you inevitably will, you always know it's something you did. It's a mistake you made, something that you did that was silly, or you were too eager, too hasty. And straight away you want to get right back in it and either take on the next mission and see if you can still get the head of that syndicate, or scrap that one and search for an entirely new syndicate to take out. Honestly, after 30 years of video gaming, there's very few games that grasp me the way Hitman Freelancer did. There's very few games that have me thinking about them all the time and make me want to jump in and focus all my efforts into being the best at that game that I can be. And then Hitman Freelancer came along and has completely blown me away. And what's even better is that it plays superbly on the Steam Deck, which means I can enjoy it all the time, anytime I get a free second. But my passion for Hitman Freelancer mode just gives you a glimpse into how much I love stealth games. If you want to see my true passion for stealth games and where it all comes from, check out this episode right here.